Thanks for having me here tonight. My first recollection of Malachy McCourt is his voice. You generally hear him before you see him. And as a kid growing up in Queens of Irish immigrants, my mother from County Donegal, in the early 70s, I was going through the house, and she's listening to the wireless, as she would call it. And she goes, "Do you hear this man on the radio? I can't believe what he's saying. Who would listen to him?" So I was there, good God, who is this guy? The next encounter I had with Malachy McCourt, Malachy thought it was a great idea to come to Queens with Larry Kerwin to bring the music to the people. Now, he wasn't talking about reels and jigs. He was talking about anti-war songs. When everybody in Woodside and Sunnyside were heading to Vietnam, Malachy thought it was a great idea to get a flatbed truck, take Larry his first time to Queens, out there to sing anti-war songs. It was the first time Larry had to start ducking bottles and everything, and start to question, this Malachy McCourt, I don't know about some of his ideas. So I ended up in the Army. During the war, I was in Germany. I came back in 1981. Went back to Ireland and was living on my uncle's farm in Donegal. And during that year, I went to a lot of the hunger strike wakes and funerals. And when I came back, I was interviewed by WBAI, and they brought me down to the station. They said, "Listen, would you like a show to talk about the hunger strike?" So from 1981 up until this day, I host a show called Radio Free Erin. And I always admired Malachy McCourt on the radio. And Malachy had a history with WBAI. In 1976, when Bob Fast was thrown off the air, Malachy was picked to fill in for Bob Fast. Bob Fast actually requested Malachy. And throughout the years, him and Frank had shows on WBAI, but I always wanted to do a show with Malachy, because that to me would be the pinnacle of my radio career. And Malachy would have me on when he was on ABC or WOR. One St. Patrick's Day, he called me up because Aer Lingus was charging a rate to send Irish bodies back. At that time in construction, there was a lot of guys being killed, and they were charging $2.50 a pound. So Malachy had me on the air, and we were talking about what pastrami at Katz's cost, $3 a pound, and we were describing how much weight it takes to get people going back. So while I'm at BAI, they always wanted me to do a morning show or something different from the Irish, because I drove a cab and I sort of knew the city. And every time I would get that close, because it's BAI, the program director would get fired, or the general manager, or there was chaos, and I would lose the position. So just 3 years ago, Mario Murillo becomes the program director, and he goes, "Listen, there's a slot open up 10 to 12 on a Wednesday. Do you want it?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, who can I bring on?" He says, "Do whatever you want." Needless to say, Mario was gone before I almost got on, but we had the slot. So I said, "I'm going to call Malachy McCourt." Now, one thing about Malachy works alone. Malachy doesn't need a co-host if you listen to him. That's just slowing him up. So I called him up and I said, "Malachy, I got this time slot. You want to come on?" And he goes, "Sure." And I couldn't believe it. I said, "Here it is. I'm going to be hosting with Malachy McCourt." And at that time, I was getting friendly with Corey Kilgannon from the New York Times. And I said, "Corey, you want to be part of this show?" Because Corey has an unbelievable Rolodex. He knows everybody in this city. And when you get an email that says @nytimes.com, your phone call gets called back. If I sent that out, who, what, it doesn't work. But with Corey there, we've had unbelievable guests. I mean, just 2 weeks ago, we had on Saw Lady, who plays down in Times Square. She's playing in there. We had Mundy on a couple of months ago singing Galway Girl, and he starts singing with Malachy, "Will you go, lassie, go?" So it has been a phenomenal 3 years. But there is one thing, even with Corey's Rolodex, he can hardly find anyone in the city that doesn't know Malachy McCourt. Almost every guest he gets, "Oh yeah, I know Malachy. Oh, I went to Stuyvesant Town. Frank taught me. I read Angela's Ashes." But there's one thing that no one can outdo Malachy. And when we have a guest up, no one can out-poverty Malachy. We had a guest from Jamaica on about 3 weeks ago. And Malachy's listening to him, and he goes, Malachy came from poverty in Kingston, and he's going on about how poor he was. And yeah. Did you have a bathroom? And I goes, "Yeah." He goes, "And you said you're poor?" "Did you hear where I grew up, in the lanes of Limerick? A bathroom? And so no matter who comes up, when I see a guest, they start talking about how poor they are. Oh no, please don't go down that road. So now for 3 years we've been doing this. I've had an unbelievable time. It has been my dream come true. And I just wanted to finish on one of the greatest lines in TV history. I don't care how far back you go, this is the greatest line in TV history. Malachy's been in a lot of soap operas. And of course he was in Oz, but he always ends up getting killed off. So in this one particular soap opera, he had killed some people. He makes his way to the airport, and believe it or not, he takes some nuns hostage at the airport. And he's trying to hijack a plane to Libya. This is reality TV. And Malachy looks into the camera, and he says, "I shall arise now and go to Tripoli." And I said, there's nothing better than that. And Malachy, I want to thank you for the best 3 years of radio I've ever done. Thank you.